No.
We're recording now. Friends, family, intimate reading associates. Look who I have here. This is my sister.
Hi.
You've never met her, so this is her introduction to you all.
I'm Chelsea.
She's Chelsea. She's amazing. She's my older sister, and I love her dearly, and she loves books. You probably know by the title of the video, it's book swap time.
I'm so excited.
We came up with this idea, what, like a few months ago?
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Wow, yeah, Thanksgiving.
Was it?
Yeah, I think I approached you and was
We were
like,
finally like, why did we not do this before?
no, exactly. We always talk about books. We're always like, hey, you'd like this. Oh, you'd like this. It's time. It's time. And so, folks, you know how in a more recent video, in January, I said I would start doing book swaps with other people. This is who I meant. Stop circling the wagons. I've been putting this off for far too long. I've wanted a book swap with you forever.
I'm excited.
Because I have plenty of books that you love, and I know that you have plenty of books that I love. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Would you like the element of surprise for the people?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Oh, I don't even. Yeah. Oh no.
They're very big. oh, they look big. I think the smallest one, let me see first. Oh boy, does this guy go into detail.
Just like world building type stuff?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Folks, I am giving my sister something incredible. This is the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington. The first book, The Shadow of What Was Lost. Oh yeah, you can read the back if you'd like.
Yeah.
An echo of things to come, and the light of all that. Holy crap, this book feels so big in my hands.
Oh wow. I have small hands. So
I decided to go with this trilogy because you are a Brandon Sanderson fan.
yes, I am.
Folks, she likes Miss Bourne. She loves Stormlight Archives.
Oh, there's. Read them.
I decided to go with this trilogy because fans of Brandon Sanderson and say like Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan love this trilogy, and I love this trilogy. It's insane what he does, and so there's some really cool character work in here. I think you're gonna love the magic. The stakes are always high. It's all so fetching fascinating. It was a long deliberation. It was between this trilogy and The Faithful and the Fallen over there.
Oh.
Malice, Valor, Ruin, and Wrath.
We always have other times.
We always have other times. Part 2 already. This isn't a one and done thing. It just checks all the boxes. It doesn't have any smut.
Okay.
There's
yes.
no language.
And I do horror.
And there's nothing scary. I think you're gonna love it. So there you are. Take your time, because,
yes.
honestly.
Oh yes. No, I'm excited. Thick is good, but it
Yes.
just means you have to pay attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have
Yes.
to take your time.
What poison have you picked for me?
Guys, are you ready? We have, drum roll please. Twilight series.
Twilight.
I'm not doing this to punish him. I love this series, don't get me wrong. But I have some unpopular opinions on it. So I'm curious to have him read them and see what he thinks. And I don't know if he read too much romance.
I've only read 2 romance books, and I'm open-minded, so.
Just as you read them, remember, Team Edward or Team Jacob. You have to tell them when you're done reading, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
All right. I will gladly do that. Wow. I've never held this book in my hand in my life. All right.
Okay.
Shall we begin?
Yes.
Yes! Can you believe it? Twilight. Never thought I'd be holding this in my hand with the intention to read it. My sister knew what she was doing. She wanted to have a good discussion about this, and boy, will we. I plan on holding nothing back. I know on this channel I try to show as much optimism as I can about books because I try to stay objective. I don't try to be nitpicky. So I'm going to try to give it the chance that it deserves. I'm going to try to give all 4 of these freaking books the chance that they deserve. Pray for me. I hope this goes well. I remember seeing the movies as they came out when I was a teenager. You know, high school was strange because of it. I'm going to try. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm not going to make any promises that this won't have spoilers in it as I read them, giving you my real-time reactions and whatnot during the montage. Just know that heavy spoilers will be coming. I guess without further ado, let's begin. The lighting is not good. This is a first edition? These are all first editions? They have to be. Yep, all first editions. First chapter down. What to say? That was a long chapter. When did this start? Page 1. Man, that's a long chapter. 29 pages. Are all the chapters like that? Let's see. When does this next one end? The next one goes from 29 to 52. So that's how it's going to be, Stephanie, is it? So we're going to have long chapters. And it is told from Bella's perspective. I don't rant about it too often, but I know that I've made mention of it on this channel. I'm not the biggest fan of first person. There's only a few authors that have really kind of gotten me excited about a book in first person. Bella's telling me her own story. Don't know how I feel about that. I can get over it real quick. I've got 4 books to kind of compile through. So, not much to say yet. I guess let's keep reading. It's been a while. It's been a very long time since we last chatted. I am on chapter 6, page 110. I've been here for like 2.5 hours, just kind of, just kind of cruising along. Would you know it? This book is incredibly fast-paced. I will say Stephanie Meyer she's like full speed ahead. A lot has happened in that time. She's finally had an interaction with Edward, and he apologized for being a jerk. And there's just this kind of, I don't know. He has this mystery to him that Bella can't quite put her finger on. I don't know. She's already kind of smitten, which is kind of weird. I like their banter back and forth. Immediately, Edward strikes me as a good character. A good character. So if I have to pick a team, so far, it's Edward. But then again, I haven't really met Jacob. He was kind of there at the beginning. He's kind of this goofy little teenage boy. So I really don't know how he's going to become a love interest in any way, shape, or form. But Edward's, I don't know, I like his banter with Bella. I think he's witty. I think he's actually quite charming. We'll see how this goes. You know what I mean? Dude, no. 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 I'm gonna scoot you up around here. So a lot's happened. I've been reading this book non-stop for, I don't know, hours. All day. Man, I've so much of my day has just been Twilight. What on earth is wrong with me? I'm hooked by the writing. I like her prose. I like what's going... No, I don't like what's going on. I pretty much just like the prose. Oh my goodness. Spoiler alert, I know most of you don't care. She found out he's a vampire. A little paranormal action going on. She found out, and she confronts him. Of course, he plays this game where he's like,
yes, tell me what I am. Tell me what I am.
She's like,
a vampire.
And he's like,
yeah, I am. And guess what? It's torture.
You read all this stuff that happens. He saves her life twice. He's like... He just, oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. So they keep, I don't know, their relationship is growing, and these things happen, and she has the audacity to tell us, the reader, this, after only knowing this boy for what, maybe 2 months? Tops. I think it's like 2 or 3 months, something like that. And we've all heard this frickin' quote being used on the internet somewhere. About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was part of him, and I didn't know how potent that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. No. Major red flag, and it's not for Edward, it's for Bella. Bella fell so fast in love, she's what, 17? 17 years old? And he's... if he's a vampire, he's probably been around for a while. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? I'm all here for love at first sight. I think it's great in books. I think it's charming. But this is weird. This is like on a weird level. He's a vampire. Just by lore, she knows this. She looked this up on the internet. She looked it up. She found all the myths that she possibly could. She knows this guy is a bloodsucker. You know what I mean? It's just weird. He's a monster, a literal monster, a soulless monster, unconditionally and irrevocably in love. I cannot understand that thought process. Maybe it's because I am a 27-year-old man and not a 17-year-old girl. It's taken a weird twist that I'm not really enjoying, but for the sake of the video, I gotta keep going. So I'm gonna catch up with you later. Editing in here. About what I just said in that last clip, that I'd see you later. It's been months since that clip. It's been months. Funny thing is, Ashlyn and I got sick in February, which is when I started those books. And I read those first two when we were down for the count pretty bad. Needless to say, I filmed absolutely nothing for those books after those first initial clips. So what you're about to see is a reenactment of what I failed to do the first time. I'll see you later on the third book, okay? Enjoy. I will say, throughout this entire series, Bella says some very cringe-worthy stuff. Like, she could win the trophy of cringe. Yes. Yes, Bella, you are weird. Yes, Edward, I don't know what you see in this weird person, but choose you. Yes, the climax. The stakes aren't really all that high. We're done. I finished the book. I finished Twilight. You know what? No, I can't. I can't lie to you guys. No, I can't fake montage for a book that I hate. And I don't hate many books. Usually the books that I have these kinds of feelings for, I DNF. But for the sake of reading this series and being able to say that I read this series and actually have a valid opinion on it, this is a bad book. Plain and simple. It is a bad book, and I can't even fake montage for it because it's so bad. There were so many things about this book that I absolutely hated because nothing in this book made any sense. It made no sense. Why the vampires have to leave? Why Bella's alone? Why Bella uses Jacob? Why doing dangerous things somehow helps her hear a voice in her head? I can't, like, the ending of this book didn't make up for the rest of the garbage that came before it. You know what I mean? I know I'm being real brutal. Usually I'm so happy and positive and try to look at things on the bright side, but this I can't. I can't! With any sort of fondness. Because the plot is so riddled with holes. The main character telling us the story herself completely sucks. She doesn't make any sense. It's like she doesn't think anything through. Poor Jacob is just kind of strung along, and you can tell that he's starting to develop feelings for her, but she, like, is, I don't know.
I'm in love with Edward, but I need a hug. I'm in love with Edward, but I want to...
Maybe she doesn't mean to, but it's infuriating. I feel like the only reason this book was written was to introduce the bad guys. You know what I mean? The Volturi. Which I thought was the most interesting part of the entire book. That's one thing that I really, really like about Stephenie Meyer, is that she can world build. I could go on and on and on about how much I detest this book, but I'm gonna save the rest of my thoughts for the ending. Excuse me for the poor lighting. This room is very cozy. Ashton and I actually just made it. This is actually a new addition to our apartment. We just got back from Florida, and lo and behold, this couch. This couch has just shown up. We're back from vacation, and I'm not going to lie to you, I took a month off. I took a month off, not just from YouTube, but from reading these terrible books. Okay, they're not terrible, they're entertaining. Man, just as a reader, this is not my taste. But it's been a month since I have even picked up the third book. I am getting back into the swing of things, and we're going to be starting Eclipse. Ooh, yes. But let's get into it. I'm going to read, I have a little bit of time, so I'm going to jump right into it. Even after all that was said, Bella still wants to go through with it. Folks, it has been a few days since I last caught up with you. Where the heck did my bookmark go? You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I know the chapter I'm on. It's been a few days of reading. All I can say is this. Bella, you know, now they're kind of preparing for war. And wouldn't you know it, Bella starts hanging out with Jacob again after she learns what he was in the second book, which is a really cool idea. The cool thing about the third book is there's a lot of world building. You get more information and more world building with the werewolves, which I love it. So she's hanging out with Jacob, and he's actually bringing her to, I don't want to call them powwows because I'm not there. It's like a council meeting of the tribe, and they're telling stories. So Bella learns the background of where the werewolves came from in this area, and I love it. I love it when she expounds on her world and she gives more life and more depth to the understanding of why these creatures even exist in the first place. And now she's, you know, now that they're like, oh, this vampire army in Seattle is coming to Forks to kill you because Victoria is psycho. So now mortal enemies have to put aside their differences and fight together. So far, this is kind of shaping up to be the best one, even though the stakes don't feel all that high because we're still dealing with a vampire that should have died in the first book. I think it's easier for you to be near me when I'm not human because you don't have to pretend that you're not attracted to me. No, I'm pretty sure it's because you can't talk. What the? Jacob kind of turns into a stupid idiot in this book.
I know you're attracted to me, Bella. I know you are.
Way to ruin a friendship. That is a one-way ticket to ruining a best friendship right there.
I'm in love with you. I know you're attracted to me. Forget the vampire.
Yeah, exactly. You are an enormous monster who refuses to respect anyone else's personal space. Ditto. Frickin' amen and amen. Signed, sealed, delivered. Bella, that's like probably the best thing you've said all book. Dude, I think I need a break, bro. I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow. I need a break. I'll deal with this later. Okay, it's been a few days. Has it? I feel like it took me 2 more days to read this book. I'm done. I'm so done. In more ways than one. This book was definitely the best of the bunch so far. I mean, there's more drama in it that I could have done without, but it just felt like it was the most fleshed out. I felt like she took her time with this one more. I'm not the biggest fan of love triangles. And I know this is where the whole Team Edward, Team Jacob comes from. It does seem natural that Jacob would, over this time, would have feelings for Bella. And he would have these feelings and this affection for her because he had to protect her for so long, and they're best friends, and so they know everything about each other. And so it would only make sense that he organically would develop feelings for this girl. I just hate the fact that they're 2 mortal enemy monsters fighting over the same human. Bella just... the reason the whole Bella-Jacob relationship doesn't make any sense is because she keeps giving him weird, mixed, confusing signals. On one hand, she's like,
I'm with Edward. I love Edward. I'm getting married to Edward. So we will never be a thing.
and then the next scene, Bella kissed me, and they kiss. I'm pretty sure Edward's like across the hill. I'm sure he could hear it. I just think Bella sucks. She just really sucks, and Edward gives her everything. I'm gonna rip it off like a band-aid and get going because I need to move on to other projects and I need to read other books. Shall we begin Breaking Dawn? Oh, jeez. This isn't the best light in the whole world. Breaking wind! That's what my dad calls it. Breaking down. So I've had days and days of driving for work long distances away. And so I've been absolutely crushing this audiobook. I'm halfway. In fact, I'm a little bit over halfway. I'm on chapter 21 on page 407. This book is 754 pages. Not as long as I thought it was gonna be, but I understand why it's so bloody long because that first half of the book was a kind of a wild ride. Not gonna lie. You start off with Bella and Edward getting hitched. Man, they get married. She gets married. Yeah. They go on their honeymoon and they have their nuptials. This is where the book gets so awkward for me. The majority of the first half of the book is Bella being pregnant, which I thought vampires can have children, so that kind of raises some questions to me. I don't know why she's pregnant, but she's pregnant. I think the big thing that I hate about it so far is that they're keeping Bella from her dad because he keeps calling and he's like, yo, this honeymoon's lasted like 3 months. And the lie they told him was like, oh, she's sick. She got sick on a tropical island and she can't be there. But the thing that threw me through a loop was that she switches points of view. See, she switches viewpoints in the 4th book of a 4-book series. Those first 3 books are all first-person narrative from Bella's perspective. Yet, a quarter or so of the way through this thing, it's Jacob talking, and he's telling you the story. She broke the one rule. I guess technically she didn't break the rules, but generally, if you're going to follow the first-person thing, and one character's going to be telling you everything, it doesn't make sense in the last book of a series. That, I'm not okay with that because I need some consistency, Stephanie. And that wasn't consistent. I don't know, there's so much to unpack and there's so much to say, but I just don't have time to say it, so cue the dang montage. I'm gonna say this, their child is weird. I just don't know how I feel about it, you know what I mean? I'm done for right now. So, they got caught. Somebody in the vampire world saw a child. This person saw Bella's child hanging out with vampire Bella and a werewolf. I think I forgot to mention. How have I failed to mention this? There is a thing that happens in this book called imprinting. Imprinting is, I guess, one person to another finding their soulmate. It happens only with the werewolves. They can be dating somebody, they can even be married to somebody. And if they see the person that they're imprinted on, they automatically know that's the person I need to be with. Yep, it caused a whole bunch of drama in that 3rd book. And Jacob in the 3rd book tried to describe this to Bella in terms as it's not romantic. You're their caretaker, you're their protector, you're their best friend. When, you know, it comes to it, you both find perfect happiness and joy together, and you end up together. So he lied. And it always ends up being romantic. It's kind of like the mating bond in ACOTAR. Imprinting is pretty much that. It's soulmates and people ending up together forever. And sometimes it can be very inappropriate. You know, in this world, it's not meant to feel that way, but to us who are normal, werewolves, some of them have been known to imprint on children. And it's not romantic until they grow up. Jacob, bless his soul, imprinted on Bella's newborn baby. That sickens me so much. That makes me hate this entire story. That's not okay. Can we all agree on that? I don't care if it's not romantic. Eventually, she's gonna grow up and they're gonna end up together. It's just how it works. That's weird. Oh my gosh. So now they're assembling an army because they know the Volturi's gonna come after them. Not only are they hanging out with werewolves, but they broke the law and had a child, and babies aren't supposed to have a child, and the Volturi thinks that they just bit a child to make them a vampire because that's the only way you can make vampire children, but they don't know that Bella and Edward had relations together because they're married and they can, and somehow it produced a baby. I hope the ending of this book makes up for all the gross, weird, creepy crap. That was the biggest cop-out I've ever read in my entire life. You go through all of these war preparations, you build these armies, they come together on a battlefield, and what happens? Alice shows up, who can somehow grant people visions, and she sees the future, and she walks up to the big bad guy, and she lets him touch her because by touching anybody, he can read every thought they've ever had, and he sees the vision that she had. At least that's what we're thinking. She just walks up, touches him, and he's like, all right, see you later, we're gonna leave. And they leave. This war doesn't even happen. It's the biggest cop-out I've ever seen in a book. Because of that, I'm so pissed off, I'm DNFing this left. I'm done. I'm so done. So the bad guys come, and they just leave. I don't do anything. Everyone went through all of that trouble just for nothing to happen. There's no payoff. Guess we gotta wait for Chelsea to finish her books. Then we can talk. See you then. YouTube!
Hi.
Look who's back. It's been how long? We started this. This took what? 4 months? 3 months? 3 months.
Yes.
I'm glad it took us this long.
Because you get really time to like think about your opinion.
And boy, do I have things to say. Let's start with Lycanius.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have more to say about that one.
We pretty much agree on this one.
Okay, if you guys have not read this, this is, I'm gonna butcher these names, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
The Lycanius trilogy. So just in general, good world building. Let's do rating first. 4.75.
For the first book or just the whole
All
thing?
of them. Each book.
Awesome.
Because overall I enjoy them. I feel like there was little things. But that's just more personal opinion. First, I just like the world building. Like, they jump right in and you never feel like bored. And I feel like sometimes with world building, it can be slightly boring. And you're like, ugh, can we just move on? But this one is not like that. I liked all the characters. Actually, usually in the book there's one character where you're like, I can't stand them. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I do.
And overall the twists. Each book has like a good ending. So the first one, when you find out who Caden actually is, but you were not expecting it. So the first thing with Caden is they find him. They're led to him by this cube.
Yeah.
Has no memory of who he is. So at the end of the book, you figure out he's.
The wild ride after that.
Oh yes.
I thought the second book going into all the, oh gosh, what are those 12 people called? The Venerate.
Venerate.
Yes, the Venerate. I thought in the second book, as you're following Caden along with all of that, I thought that was the most interesting thing.
Right? Because at first I was like, oh, it's going to be a flashback book.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, you're like, okay, I'm tired. But I feel like you really needed it.
Yes.
And it wasn't like overwhelming. They paced it out enough to where you were getting the present, but then you'd have a memory.
It's so integral to like what's going on, especially with Caden's character. I don't know, the memory sometimes made me think, are the Venerate good or are they bad?
Right. Well, I think that's the point. Okay, overall, I feel this is like a story of redemption.
Amen, yes.
Because you see Caden, according to everyone else, and he will admit himself based on his memories, no, he was not a good guy.
Yeah.
But then he realized that what he believed may not necessarily be the truth. And that changed him to really reflect and define the truth, and then he changed.
Oh, it is so well done. And then of course, I forgot his name. How do I forget his name? Davian.
Davian.
Oh.
That twist.
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Third book, very end. But then the end, you just want to hug Caden. Like, it was just, you didn't predict it. Like, normally in books, I can kind of predict the ending.
Yeah.
No.
The entire thing, you don't see any of it coming.
No.
And you can't put them down.
No. And then, Asha. I feel like she got the short end of the stick a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, they do break her out, but I just feel like she got the short end of the stick.
She did.
But at least it's a happily ending.
But overall, 4.75.
Because they're good.
Oh, in the moment, everyone has been pretty...
Okay, I do enjoy these books, but also I'm excited because I feel like I have guys' opinions. So here.
Guys, these books are infamous.
Yes.
They came out in the early to mid 2000s, changed YA literature forever. I hate to admit that.
They did.
But they did. So,
First, you gotta answer the question.
Which
Team
one?
Edward or Team Jacob? You know what I'm waiting for. So you might as well say your answer now, and then we can talk.
at first, I was all Team Jake. When he was that happy place she could go to,
Yes.
and he just was just like free will and happiness.
Yes.
It was like, I want him. Edward was okay. He started off fine, and then the second book, I just was just like, this guy sucks. But then third and fourth book, I was like, Edward was the man in those books. So I don't know, I'm Team Edward. I cannot rate the series as a whole because I hate some more than I don't. Twilight. The 8th most sold novel of all time.
For real?
65 million copies.
Okay.
I don't know how. It's on a list with the Bible. Edward's a creepy little stalker and Bella's okay with it.
Serious red flags. Relationship no, like, if I came to you and said, oh, this guy really loves me, he's been sneaking into my bedroom to watch me sleep.
They would find him at the bottom of Utah Lake.
That's what I'm saying. But you followed me.
Yes! You were already there, you creep!
Teenage girls are reading this. It is not okay.
Like, I get love at first sight. I'm all about that. But this was just weirder. It also doesn't help that he's like a 90-year-old monster.
He's old.
But the absolute worst thing, after everything is said and done and the climax happens, she's like,
I'm gonna be a vampire.
and he's just like,
Excuse me, what now?
but she keeps
I
pushing.
know, like, he didn't know how this was gonna go. Did you really think about this? That's why I'm Team Aaron.
Out of all of you, pick Eric. Overall, 0.75.
Oh.
What an atrocious novel. Just already the book starting off, just because she gets a bloody paper cut.
See, again, another red flag. Do you know what's best for me? No! No!
I kind of wish Victoria would have just eaten her there in the water.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the Jacob thing until he started becoming a werewolf.
Yeah, then he just gets obnoxious.
Okay. The big poop in the pants moment of this entire book. For some reason, they just hop on a plane to go to Italy. She just goes.
She's the only one.
Oh.
I can't see coming.
Just let him do it. Bro, just remember
But you
her.
let.
It was your decision. She tried to kind of retell Romeo and Juliet, and it just backfired. The worst thing I've ever read.
1.5.
Yeah. It is that bad. Freaking Eclipse. Besides the stupid love triangle.
She's so dumb!
I'm convinced Bella's a narcissist. She is a horrible human being. I think the biggest beef I have with this book, the worst issue, is imprinting. When you find out that one of the wolves is imprinted on like a 2-year-old child. The first and third books have a way better plot than the second. The second is just like, why did you write that? I honestly want to give it a 3.
Oh.
No, I can't do that. No, it's not that good. It's a 2.75. Frickin' Breaking Dawn. I like the wedding. I liked everything about that. Then we get to the honeymoon.
Yeah.
I think the worst part about the honeymoon is it took like nearly 80 pages of the book because she's like,
I want to be human.
it's like, but so you want to be a human for that night, but you've been wanting to be a vampire more for the past 2 years. Pick your battles, woman. Jacob's random POV, the imprinting on a baby. It's bad writing.
Well, I feel like if you're gonna, like, I understand, yes, you're frozen, but why isn't that way with the guys? Anyway, like, it should have been the same.
Chelsea, you're right.
Like,
How did she get pregnant?
Like, that part wasn't consistent. It wasn't consistent over Ginger.
How did I miss? And then the war happens.
But it doesn't.
Doesn't. I felt so utterly cheated.
But it changes our mind, and they're like, never mind, we will not have a war today.
It's the lamest thing. Overall, okay, Breaking Dawn by itself, it was a little bit better because it had more time. It's another 2.75. The series as a whole, solid 2.
That's what I was thinking, because...
But folks, another book swap down. Awesome! Yes! We're gonna have to do this again. If you want to see another book swap, which I know you do, just let us know. Everybody, go and sub to my sister.
Yes.
She has an amazing channel. Her channel will be linked down below. Is that it? Yep.
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.